I've got a real affinity for foliage and plants. I learned to improve my green thumb when it comes to plants, and I'll share you how to install a green wall planter. With this companion podcast to episode 109, All Foliage Living Green, we'll visit the fern capital of the world and make some foliage wrapping paper. It's all about living green on Behind the Bloom with RJ and me today. Foliage and plants provide the special benefit of improving the air in our living spaces. Plants and foliage are truly a green solution that can help you sleep better. A corn plant or dracaena in your sleeping quarters offers many benefits. Stop by your local plant seller and pick up one of nature's air purifiers. You'll be breathing easier in no time. Our friends at Cal Flowers are proud sponsors of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom and Behind the Bloom podcast, where flowers and wellness go hand in hand.
All right. Hey, Jay. How's it going?
It's very good. How about you?
Good, good. Yeah, I see it's still snowing out there.
It is still snowing. But I love it. I don't know. They're forecasting not as much as here, but we can get 100 inches of snow.
Wow.
A year. And I love it. I mean, I grew up in Nebraska and we had 4 seasons, but they were not like the 4 seasons. In the summer, it's 114 and humid. I mean, that's too hot for any human, right?
Right.
In the winter, it'd get to be like 60 below. One time it was 60 below. My grandpa showed me how you could spit and it would freeze before it hit the ground. That's cold.
That's cold.
Right? It's not like that here in Michigan. We have 4 beautiful seasons. And is that your experience in Chicago too?
It is. Yeah. Although I will say it seems like spring and fall get quicker and quicker, where I feel like we have these long summers and these long winters. But yeah, we do have the 4 seasons. Yeah.
I felt like this fall was really long.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was longer?
Yeah,
I felt like this fall was a little more long. And, so it's like, it is like the last bush to turn for me and is the most beautiful is my witch hazel. Oh. And so Kel and I got home last night from our trip. We turned on the lights and went out in the backyard and looked at because these leaves are green and then there's yellow and then there's a red stripe on the edge and then there's a burgundy. They're the most beautiful leaves. And this morning they're covered with snow.
Oh.
And then now this super cold snow will make that whole tree defoliate. So tomorrow it'll all be gone. But if it wouldn't have done that, it might have lasted a little longer. But it's my favorite tree. So now we'll talk about green, right?
Yeah,
Let's talk about living
yeah.
green. That's my favorite color. So yeah, this is the companion episode to the All Foliage show.
Oh yeah, and I do want to say, Jay, I say foliage, and I feel like by the end of the episode, I'm going to be saying foliage. I have this thing where I kind of like, I used to live, I went to college in Indiana, which was not far from Louisville, Kentucky, but everyone down there says Louisville, not Louisville. And after living closer and closer, I eventually started saying Louisville.
It's true.
So I feel like I'm going to say, kind of mimic whatever I'm hearing.
You can say foliage and people will be very happy because as we have said, that is the number one complaint. We don't get very many complaints, maybe like 6 in total all time, but it's always about the way that I say foliage.
I can't believe people complain about that.
I was with a foliage expert in Washington this past week and he says foliage too.
Oh.
And I was so delighted. He's a 3rd generation foliage expert and he said to me, which is what I always say, but I just love that he endorsed it. He said, go to the Webster's dictionary. There's 2 ways to say it. It's foliage and foliage. Both are correct, and they're both in the Webster dictionary. And that's what I tell people all the time.
Oh.
I tell people that all the time, right? Who get all worked up about it. He's like, it's either way. It doesn't matter. It's either way. So yeah. So for those of you who are freaking out that I'm saying foliage instead of foliage, I will put a link in the bottom to the Webster dictionary so you can hear the lady say it both ways.
I love that.
Okay, so let's do a Bloom 365 tip.
Yes.
Okay,
let's get into
awesome.
our tip. Uh-huh.
So this is number 254. It's in the foliage section. It's called Natural Concealer. All of these tips have a little a little bolded word name for them, right? Kelly did all that. Kelly made up all these names for in the book. And they're just charming. And I like that this is natural concealer. And it's like place leaves such as Fatsia, tea leaves, or aspidistra inside a vase to hide the stems of an arrangement. The fascinating results creates interest under the water. And there's a picture with this one in the book.
Mm-hmm.
It is really cool because you can put those leaves down in, so it's a clear cylinder vase, and then you can wrap I love variegated aspidistra. That's my favorite to put inside a vase because it looks like ribbons of foliage that are like striated and it's just gorgeous. But any foliage could be used underwater because foliage doesn't deteriorate as much underwater as flowers would. And so it's underneath concealing the mechanics. You even can wrap it around a piece of foam and then drop it in a clear glass cylinder so it conceals the foam inside too.
Okay.
So that's kind of a fun thing too if you wanted to use flower foam inside there, or if you were going to use chicken wire. Okay, another great example because everybody's loving chicken wire right now, and I'm great about that. So you could also wrap it around the chicken wire, so you won't see the wire under the water. You'll just see this beautiful piece or leaf. You could use a Monstera leaf. You could use a Fatsia leaf. You could use the variegated Fatsia are beautiful. The variegated Fatsia is incredible. Fatsia looks like fingers kind of.
Oh,
I love Fatsia. It's pretty. Okay, look up Fatsia. Look up Fatsia in the dictionary or in Wikipedia or something. It's really pretty foliage. So yeah.
so get into the episode too. So I have a dumb question because I realize I don't really know what foliage means. Does
So
it refer to greenery? Does it refer to, I know fall foliage? I feel like I've used it, but I'm like, wait, what exactly?
foliage is the term for any leaf type product. So
Okay.
we might refer to foliage on a rose stem.
Hmm.
So that's the leaves on the rose stem.
So it's the
Or
leaves.
but even like bear grass or
Mhm.
lily grass, that's foliage.
Okay.
The grasses that would grow in your yard, the big ornamental grasses, that's foliage. If it's not a flower, but it's a living plant, if it's a living piece of a plant that isn't the flower, it's the foliage, or it could be the
Okay.
stem too. So the stem
Mhm.
is another thing, but
Okay.
foliage or flowers.
Okay. I realize I've used the term so many times and I
Right.
can think of what it means, but I was like, when I get down to it, I was like, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So
So
these
that's
naked trees outside have no foliage on them.
got it. Got it.
Okay. All right. There
Yeah.
we go. Yeah.
Well, so I love so you went to Alpha Fern and Fern Trust in the episode.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and that just seemed like an incredible place.
So these again were pieces that we had done. We did a documentary series that I'll put a link on the show for you. We did a thing called the Fabulous Foliage Tour in Florida, and we visited. So Florida, this area around, it's about an hour north of Orlando, is considered the fern capital of the world, Pearson, Florida.
Okay.
Okay. And it's where all of the fern in the United States, which is leatherleaf primarily, is grown. And the reason it's the capital of the world is it's very difficult to grow that product anywhere else in the world. They grow a little bit of it in Costa Rica, a little bit in Mexico, but it mostly comes from there. And it's right at the cusp of the citrus band, okay, which is slowly moving south because of climate change, right?
Hmm.
And so if you can't grow fruit anymore, you can grow foliage. You can grow this leather leaf there. And leather leaf is a big deal to these people, but they grow all kinds of foliage and they're all grown in oak hammocks. An oak hammock is a tree. So this foliage can't grow in direct sunlight. It has to grow under something.
Okay.
And so in the natural way, it would be these oak trees that provide the shade, but they also stretch up saran, which is like a black netting that's made of plastic that reduces the amount of sun that can get through it underneath and where the plants grow. So you'll see those in this episode, but
It's
also,
beautiful. Like when you see it in
yeah,
the episode, like it's, I don't know, because you can see how it like it's in under this canopy and everything is, I mean, it's just gorgeous. Like when I saw, I don't know, I was super jealous. I was like, Jay, this is an incredible place to
it
go walk around.
really is.
Yeah.
The biggest detriment to these people are two things: freezing, which because of climate change, they get frost control. And when they have to do frost control, they set sprinklers and the sprinklers go off. And as long as it stays cold enough to freeze it and the ice gets on the foliage and then the ice is frozen on there, it won't kill the plant.
Oh, how
So
interesting.
the ice provides the frost protection. And
Wow.
so that is a big thing. And when it's when it freezes, and sometimes it's on Christmas Day, and I think Jennifer's dad talks about that in this episode, is
Yeah.
that Christmas Day they had to do freeze protection. And so
Yeah.
they had to
And it
stay with that.
lasted
And
for
then
days, it sounded
yeah,
like.
and then they
Yeah.
had to go have Christmas later on. You have to stay with it and you have to keep those sprinklers going. And it's so beautiful. but they don't think it's beautiful because it's detrimental. But it's just like you get like a piece of fern that has this much ice on it, but it all, because it's been sprinkled on it so finely and it's built up, it looks like a big ice fern. It looks like Elsa lives there, right?
Yeah, right,
Looks
right.
like frozen land.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so amazing. The other
Yeah.
thing that is very detrimental to them is hurricanes, because the
Oh, right.
hurricane force winds will tear up the oak hammocks, and it will also tear up all of that. That stuff just becomes a sail. They've had everything completely destroyed and have to rebuild a couple times because of those. So hurricanes are a big deal. And whenever there's a hurricane, I'm always praying for my fern growers,
Mm.
because those guys are friends. They're family to us, and we love them all. And we did several different ones, but we featured Fern Trust and we featured Alpha Fern in this one. I chose that. The Registers have been friends of my family forever, and David and his sister-in-law Jana, she now runs her dad's fernery. They know about it. They've grown it. David's a second generation fern grower. And then Jennifer, I love Jennifer. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world. She's a young Florida gal running her folks's, fern place, and she has that display of all the things they grow.
Yeah, there's so much variety.
It's just incredible. And
Yeah.
Jennifer's and I love her dad too. Her dad's wonderful.
Oh,
and
you
he's
seem
just
great.
he's like a character actor in a show, I mean,
Yeah.
and he's just the best. He's so
Yeah.
great, and it's funny, in Jennifer's office, she has a big deer head, and she's like, that's the first deer that my dad took me out and taught me how to hunt deer, and how and there's wild pigs down there that
Oh.
will root up all the fern, and so that's a big deal.
Oh.
You don't want wild pigs on your property.
Oh, right.
And then we saw a little bit of the people picking.
Mhm.
And I was just recounting this story last week to a friend at one of them, and we didn't show this one. It was at Continental Floral Greens, but they put me on a crew, let me pick, and I was fired after 3 minutes.
Oh, no.
They were just like, no. No.
What went wrong, Jay? What was
I'm not fast enough, number one. And it's amazing because they pick and grade the foliage at the same time.
Okay.
So they will pick this piece and this piece, not that piece, and then this piece, and then not that piece, and not that piece, but then this piece. And I was picking, and he was just like, no. You're never going to make it. And these people have picked fern for these people for generations. I mean, it really is. And again, the thing I have to say about this, and I think it's so important, is that these people who have this talent to pick this crop and that are paid by the amount of bunches that they get and are taken care of, like these people are immigrants and they come there to do this picking, right? And so they have built housing for them and they take care of them and they have weekend parties for them and they pay them and they encourage them and they help them. And it's not, I have people all the time who say, well, is that a horrible job? It's a job that these people do and they do it really well.
Mhm.
This last week I was at a place where they are having these artisans, and we're going to talk about it in the Christmas episode. But
Mhm.
I think it's interesting is they're these artisans, and they come from the place in Mexico, which is the largest flower capital of the country of Mexico, and they are trained to do design work their whole lives.
Oh, cool.
It's all part of what they do. They make wreaths, they make, they make bunches, they make bundles, they make arrangements, they do that stuff. So they're talented and it's part of their culture and they know how to do it. They are such an important part of our flower industry. And that is why we are so supportive of having immigrants come here to do these jobs that no one else can do.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
really is important. I am very selective when we talk to these people about making sure that we're talking to people that are making sure that everyone is taken care of and treating everyone equally and treating everyone fairly and paying people correctly and taking care of them. That's very important to me. And I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm going to say this about David, and he can get mad at me if he wants to, but David Register isn't picking 30 bunches of evergreen in an hour,
Oh, yeah.
and neither
Mhm.
am I. I'm not that
Mhm.
person either. But
Mhm.
those guys, they may pick 60. They may
Wow.
pick a bunch a minute.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
25 stems. And they have these little knives that are hooks on the ends of their fingers. It was wild.
Wow.
I couldn't even figure that out. He was like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to let you use those because you'll cut your hand off. And
Yeah,
I was,
you get hurt.
yes, exactly. That will happen. But it's phenomenal. And
Oh, cool.
there's all kinds of foliage. So there's leatherleaf and there's pittosporum and there's sword fern and there's, there's just all these different kinds of flowers or foliage that they grow. And like including like the Monstera. The Monstera is one of my favorites. And Jana's
I love
son,
Monstera.
Jana's son had, I believe he has 22,000 plants of Monstera that he harvests from. And
Wow.
that was like that's part of his, and it's his farm, so he does that. So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so Brandon is the Monstera guy, and so it's really interesting. And there was another, we weren't able to do this, but there's a family, a husband and wife who for years, they have since passed away because Jana told me, but they had Kunti, and Kunti is it looks kind of like a fern, but it's kind of like a prehistoric fern. The husband and wife would pick it every day and they would bring it into the farm and then they would sell it because Fern Trust is a co-op. Okay. And
Oh,
so
okay.
there's little farmers like that would bring in their stuff and they would sell it to them and then they sell it for them. So Fern Trust is a co-op that gives all of those wonderful farmers the ability to have promotion and marketing for their business.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
so that's a really, really cool thing. And they were the sweetest couple. So precious. I wanted to interview them and they were like, we don't want to be interviewed. And I was but they were just a sweet little couple and that's what they do. That's how they made
Yeah.
their money, And it was like,
Yeah.
they're the Kunti farm masters, And it's
Yeah.
like, Kunti is such a strange name, but you can look that up too. But
Yeah.
I love Kunti. And I love Kunti. I will tell you, I love Kunti because of them.
Oh.
I love Kunti because of them, because I knew that they were picking it and it was theirs. And
Oh.
they selected everyone. So yeah, that's kind of what that's all about.
That's so special. I love just the relationships that you make throughout all of this, Jay. It really is special and adds a whole other appreciation for all of this. It's like, wow, you really get to know these
Absolutely.
people, and yeah.
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 It's really interesting because I've known David Register my whole life. I've known Jennifer for 20 years. Hagstrom's is another place that's down there. I've known Mr. Albert Hagstrom and his son forever.
Mhm.
I mean, and again, that's one of the things. I was born into the flower industry and I didn't leave it. So that was one of the blessings. I am born for this job because I know all these people. I grew
Oh,
up with
right.
them all. I've watched them all. I've watched them their whole lives grow up in their industries, and I've got to talk to them, and I've got to go see where they were, and that's a big deal.
I feel like so many of them are multi-generational too. It's so interesting. It's like you kind of get born into this and then you learn. And I mean, it's like a lot of the farmers you talk to are multi-generational.
It's unfolding now. There are more people who have decided they don't want to do this.
Oh,
And
no.
so, because it's hard work, let me reframe that a little bit. It's easier to find a job that's better that is not as hard of work.
Mhm.
And you either are dedicated to it or you're not. I was talking about my friend Julie at Joseph and Sons. Her brother has started his own company and her other brother didn't want to have anything to do with it. So he went to another place. So the two sons are gone and Julie's there. And I'm like, I want her to change the name to Joseph and Daughter.
Oh, yeah. You're
Because
right.
she's the one who's there. Green Valley Floral that we've been at, Jonathan is their son, and he has taken it over. And he is changing that. And he's third generation. My friend Ivor, his dad's Renee. Renee was second generation. Ivor's third. So when we find these people, and Frank Biddle's son, George, is taking over his. These young people, we surround them, we hold them up, we help them. They're the future of our flower industry. There are some places that are going to close because they don't have kids involved.
Oh.
And
Mhm.
nobody's going to come in there and do that work. I mean, same thing that happened with our business and our family business is my mom and dad sold it to someone because my sister didn't want to keep doing it and she didn't have any kids interested in it. She's got a son who's a national sales manager and a son who's an investment banker. They didn't want to do it,
Mhm.
I left, so that happens,
Mhm.
and so it is really important when these generational families want to hang on. And that's a really good thing for us to talk about on a podcast. We need to put that
Yeah.
down as one of our things that we need to, I'm going to make a post-it.
Okay.
But yeah, about multi-generational, because I think it's really important.
Yeah, it seems like such a recurring theme in all of your
Absolutely.
episodes. So, yeah, I'd love
Absolutely.
to talk
And
about it more.
we all have grown up together. They used to have kids programs at conventions, at the Society of American Florist Convention. So we were all in those programs together. So we all knew each other,
Oh, cool.
and now
Yeah.
we're all adults or senior citizens and we still know each other,
Yeah.
So yeah, Robert Kittyam and I, we always about, here's cheers to the flower lifers, that were
Oh.
around our whole lives. So yeah, absolutely. It's
Oh.
great. When it comes to flowers lasting as long as possible, I always choose Kreisel Flower Food. Flowers benefit from food and keeping the water clean. In my experience, Kreisel Flower Food does the best job. It's formulated by scientists. My favorite product is Kreisel Professional 3. Kreisel Flower Food products are available at their website, kreiselflowerfood.com. That's CHRYSAL flowerfood.com. And be sure to use our discount code, uBloom10, for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through uBloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit the lifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support.
Moving on then, so Crafts in Bloom, so you did the living wall too, which I was really into, and I've seen those, on walls before. Never thought like, oh, I'm going to attempt one of these, but after watching you break it all down, I was like, oh, this is totally something I could do if I wanted to. And
when we filmed that, I had the hardest time finding that mechanism.
Oh, okay.
And I will put links in the thing. You can get them anywhere now. You can get them at craft stores.
Oh.
It's a big deal. And I shipped that one out of Amsterdam, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal in the Netherlands.
Oh,
but
right.
now it's a big thing here. And it's just such a healthy thing. Having those plants in our presence. Everyone should have a corn plant and a Monstera plant in their bedroom. Also, another good one is a snake plant, or a Sansevieria.
And why? What do they do? I have a Monstera plant. So
okay. So they take in carbon dioxide and the pollutants in the air, and they express oxygen out.
Okay.
And so you will sleep better in a room that has plants in it instead of a room that does not. And I've spent a week in a hotel, and I can tell you, I could tell the difference. I was so thankful to be sleeping in my own bed last night, having my plants by me. It changes it. I mean, we have so many plants in this house. I'm not good at plants, but like corn plants, Monstera plants, and Sansevieria are three of the easiest plants to take care of. And they do more cleaning of the air than anything else. So it's a big deal. Yeah. So
cool.
So plants, and having those plants and having it hang on the wall is really, and I will I'm going to tell you true confessions now. I put ferns in those, right?
Right.
If you were good at growing ferns, that's a really smart idea. I am really bad at growing ferns, and so that died like almost instantly because I'm horrible, and I should have planted it with pothos. But you could also plant it with succulents.
Oh, right.
Or you could plant it with, and when you have a succulent, RJ, you leave it alone.
I was going to say, if I did succulents, I'd have a problem, Jay.
Gotta leave them alone.
Yeah, I'd have to do something else for me.
I got you connected to the Gomez's, our super Schwanke fans, and they were like
so hard. He called me out.
He called you out in an email to us all,
hard.
and I was like, "Hey, Brad, be nice to RJ, for God's sakes."
No, it was great.
I think it's a really good thing, and it's just having those available and having them to us, and that's yet another way to do it, is have it on the wall. That one was so interesting because you watered it from the side, and there was a thing to trap all the water.
Mm-hmm.
So look, when you're looking at, if you want to do something like that and you want to buy them online, make sure that there's a reservoir to hold the overflow of water.
Okay.
That's really important. And if it has a drain on it so you could drain it out, that'd be even better. But yeah. But I mean, now, like the Amway Grand here in Grand Rapids, there's a living wall on the whole side of the building.
I feel like they're really popular right now, and I see why.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
You see them in airports a lot. You see
Mhm.
them in hotels frequently. You see them in museums. So a living wall is a big deal. And I think it's a really wonderful thing. And I'm glad that we do it. All over Europe, you're going to see them. And you see them a lot we were in Sweden with Grace a couple of years ago, and you see them there all the time. It's everywhere.
So also you did entertaining with foliage. Oh, see, I said foliage, Jay, and not
You did say,
foliage.
okay, yeah, you did. Okay, here we go. We've got
I'm
you.
being
We've
converted.
caught
Yeah.
you now. We've
Yeah,
caught you
yeah.
now. Excellent. It's
Yeah,
working
yes.
perfectly.
Yes. But I love all the Monstera leaves, and so I told you about I have a Monstera plant, and I was working on a film shoot recently, and there was a request from a client to have some Monstera leaves, and so, I brought in my plant from home just as to show the clients and have it standing by on set in case they wanted it, and I had never moved it out of my apartment before, and
Okay.
it has those aerial roots that had been growing everywhere. So I have this big bay window and, like, a bunch of plants out there, but it had kind of, like, moved its way around all the other plants, and so when I pulled this potted plant and moved it out, it was like these tentacles that were, wrapped up in everything, and so I had to, like, wrap them up and carry them. Like, the
It's
aerial roots
true.
were crazy.
So
Yeah.
the aerial roots, and we get those because we have low humidity in our homes. And
Okay.
you live in Chicago, I live in Michigan, so we are in
Mhm,
that area now where it's going to be low humidity, and they're going to make them even more. But
mhm.
those aerial roots are what people would use for rope or twine,
Oh, interesting.
right?
Okay,
Because that's how
yeah.
strong they are.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's interesting too is that the more light that a monstera plant has, the more holes you'll have in the
Oh,
leaves.
yeah, yeah.
The less light you won't, they'll shoot a leaf that's maybe solid.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Interestingly enough, from these foliage farmers, there are monstera leaves that are 3 feet across and 5 feet long. You
Wow.
can you can order extra large monstera leaves for arrangements.
Wow.
And the problem is it takes so long to grow them. So they're very expensive, but you can order them that way. Or you can order small. Small are generally about what? 8 inches across.
Mhm.
Large are usually about 10 or 12 inches across, and then you got to get into extra large if you want really big ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but they do grow them. And again, my friend Brandon is a guy who has all these plants. And you remember a few years back, and I want to say it's probably been 10 years ago now, but one of the flower trends was called Monstera Madness, when all of a sudden Monstera leaves were the big deal.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's when Brandon started planting his farm. Monstera Madness has continued. People are crazy about Monsteras. They love them.
It's really cool. I love
Monstera actually will shoot a fruit that
really?
looks like a kind of like a black cone. And when you cut it open, you can eat it. It's edible
Oh, cool.
and it tastes like fruit cocktail.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool, I had no
Crazy.
idea.
Monstera fruit tastes like fruit cocktail. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah. And you will see them like sometimes when we go to the Flower and Garden Festival at Disney, some of the big monsteras down there will be throwing fruit in like May, and you can see them. You can see it, and it's quite ugly. I don't know if you would ever be possessed to eat it, but once you carve off the black outside, there's like a heart on the inside that looks sort of kind of like pineapple, sort of kind of like mango, and
Oh,
it tastes like fruit cocktail.
cool. That's
So yeah,
awesome. I'd love to also just more into your entertaining, so you use the Monstera leaves as, like, placemat. You had other leaves that were, like, in between 2 glass plates. Like, it was
yeah.
just so cool to, like, work all of the foliage.
I love the trick of putting that was prayer plant leaves in between the two. So it's a great way to decorate with foliage and then be able to still put your food on there so that you're not putting your food on foliage. Like when you go to Hawaii, there's a lot of food on foliage, but they grow it for that purpose. Up here, it may have, if you're going to put your food directly on it, you probably should wash it off. But if you're going
Mhm.
to tuck it in between two plates, you're safe.
Yeah.
It's a safe way to do it and not have to worry about anything. I like laying the silverware too on the foliage. I think that that's pretty fun. And then
Yeah.
I used the permanent marker, and it would have been way better for me to use a white permanent marker than a gold one, but a white permanent marker would show up on foliage, and so you could do it as a place card.
Oh, cool.
So I like
Cool.
that too, and
Yeah.
that's a fun way to do that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, and there's so many different kinds. I mean, I think that Fern Trust grows like 146 different varieties of flowers, and I'm sure
Wow.
Alpha Fern does the same thing. I mean, there's just so many different types, and then there is a whole nother crop, just as a forerunner for other shows. There's a whole other crop of foliages that grow in the Pacific Northwest. And those
Oh,
are not the same as what grows. Like salal grows up there, bear grass grows up there, red hut grows up there. It does not grow in Florida.
okay.
So Florida is where you have more of the ferns and the monsteras and the tropical plants. And then the Pacific Northwest is another set of rainforest stuff that's in a cooler climate.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of ferns grow around the Midwest, Jay? Are there 'cause, do you know?
Like, we have a fern that grows underneath pine trees here in Michigan that you probably have down there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't function well as a cut flower. If you cut it and bring it in the house and put it in water,
Okay.
it will curl up right away.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Okay.
maidenhair fern we can grow here, but again, very delicate. It's my favorite. One of my favorite foliages is maidenhair fern. I'm
Oh,
wild about maidenhair fern, but
okay.
I can't grow it to save my life because it's just delicate. But I have really good success with a maidenhair fern. If I shove it outside over the summer, it'll grow really well under the deck. And then when
Oh,
I bring
okay.
it inside for winter, I'll kill it.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
We have these neighbors a couple houses down from us who had this beautiful, like a ton of ferns just like in their front, like on the side of their house. And it was this whole area and it was these ferns that grew and
Oh,
it was just
it's
beautiful. Oh,
ostrich feather ferns. I have
okay.
them
That
out
must
here.
be it.
I have them
Oh,
out
okay.
in the backyard.
Yeah.
We grew them in Nebraska.
Oh,
And I have a whole section of my yard here that I planted because I wanted them because I had them at home in Nebraska, and they grow here and they winter over perfectly.
okay. They're
And
beautiful.
so they're all gone.
Yeah.
The ground looks bare right now, but you can see the little corms. And I planted 2, and I probably have 50 or 60 plants now because
Oh,
they're
wow.
really prolific. But they grow underneath a birch tree.
Okay.
So they have to have shade. They
Okay.
have to have shade. So again, that same screening that we talked about in Florida, they have to have that as well. They have to,
Oh,
because
okay.
they
To
grow
naturally.
they grow in an area that's shaded. They cannot grow in full sun. The full sun
Okay.
is too strong and it will burn ferns almost always.
Oh.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
these ferns that were down at our neighbors, they sold their house and new people moved in there, and the people that moved in got rid of all the ferns, and it's like wood chips
Oh.
now, and we were so sad. And it was
Yeah.
literally we would walk past. It was part of our our weekly walk. We'd go by and look at the ferns every week, and they were all for the past couple of years. And then we went a couple of weeks ago, and they were all gone, and we were like, oh no.
I always wonder what will happen. You know how many plants I have here, right?
Yeah.
And how many trees. And we've
Mhm.
planted them all here.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems like, and I'm just going to say this, it seems like when people buy a house, they tear out all the landscaping and start over.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand why you would do that.
I don't
So
either.
if I'm dead and gone and somebody buys this house, there's there's tens of thousands of dollars of trees. Don't cut them all down.
No, no.
Do not cut them all
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
And I think people just like to cut down trees sometimes. There's a whole ritual too for me when I know a tree's leaving, not
Mhm,
in my yard, but in other neighbors.
mhm.
I'll go down and hug it and hold on to it and put my arms around it and listen to it and thank it for being here before they cut it down.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's not enough trees. There's too many
No.
people and not enough trees. So
Right,
don't
right.
cut down trees. It's just my thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
PSA about trees and Jay.
No, I love it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're getting close on time, Jay.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Let me tell you about the wrapping paper. I love the
Oh,
wrapping paper
yeah.
in this episode. Okay. So we use the leather leaf, which is a fern, but I just use brown craft paper. And you could do this with maple leaves. You could do it with any type of foliage you wanted to pick from your own yard. You lay it underneath it and then run over it with a crayon, and you do kind of that transfer thing, right? That we
Mhm,
did in grade school. Okay.
mhm.
And so then you transfer it onto the paper, and you could use white paper, or you could use green. I used craft paper and used green crayons. And so then I made those fern patterns, and then I could wrap a gift with it.
It was
And
so
I
cool.
just think that that's a fun craft to do. I mean, if you want to because you could do it with grocery sacks if you wanted to,
Oh, right.
or
Mhm.
you could do it with art paper. It would be a fun thing that nobody's ever seen if you're going to wrap a present with that. So I think that
Yeah.
that's a fun, that little fun craft. I love that. And I really liked it, and I thought it turned out really good. And it was fun.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
and the holidays are coming up, and we're doing our Christmas
Correct.
episode next.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
this would be a good
absolutely.
segue into it.
Yeah, so you could
Yeah.
you could do it with holly leaves. You could do it with evergreen if you wanted to, because it will
Oh, yeah.
still give you that, It's better if you use a flatter foliage. So like using cedar rather than like a fir tree would give you a
Oh,
better Christmas decor. Yeah,
okay.
it would give a Christmas feeling. So yeah, but
Cool.
fern, nothing wrong with that either. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks,
All right.
RJ. I appreciate it. Thanks for
Yeah,
talking.
thanks, Jay.
Thanks
Yeah.
for talking foliage with me.
Yes, foliage.
Foliage.
You've converted me. I'm saying it foliage now.
And the letters start to come in. All right,
Yeah,
we will
yeah.
wait. Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Poole. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. and share it with a friend to help us spread the joy one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us, and hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out uBloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find Behind the Bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.